Speaking of editing, maybe human says I never heard the term beta reader until Ali. Beta testers video games exist, but beta readers. Okay, isn't that just the editors?
Yeah,
I wasn't aware that people had so little understanding of publishing and the different types of editors and editing roles. And okay,
my God,
this is why, especially, I'm just gonna say, in indie comics, a lot of stories need work. And I'm not speaking from a place where I think my story is perfect, but I do try to do it the right way. And when you're working on a comic, making a good comic story is no different than making a good novel. And that requires a copy editor, an actual editor, proofreaders, beta readers, all this kind of shit. And the problem with indie comics is you don't have that. When you're working for a publisher, the publisher provides that for you. When you're independent, you need to find people to do that shit for you. Every single Fiendish script, which is basically my thumbnails, I go through rounds and rounds of feedbacks. English. I have friends, other creators. We co-critique our work. I have a team. I show them my work. I run all my stuff through my team that has been with me since Fiendish 1. I have an actual editor, Michael Odin, and I have proofreaders now. I'm happy to pay for proofreaders. I get as much feedback as I can from people that I trust, and this is how you get your story to work. It's not just, well, I have an idea, I'm going to put it out there, and it's just, writing is not easy. Writing is hard. It's not just, I have an idea and I'll draw it out there, and then that if something exists, that's a story. Story writing is an art unto itself. And it's complicated, it takes time, and you need feedback. It's something that needs to be learned. So, anyways, yes, and also, maybe human, I hope you don't take this, I'm not like yelling at you or anything. I'm really frustrated with how I think that in general, I'm ranting about how in indie comics, a lot of projects don't put in the effort to make their story good. Right? That's what I'm going on about. And I want to see indie comics be amazing. I want to see what we're creating rival the mainstream. Think about what we're doing as our competition is manga. How do we get to the point where we're competing against manga? Because that's our fucking competition. We can't slack off. We can't be like, oh, this is good enough. Good enough isn't enough.
The thing is, everyone thinks that they can write. And I'm sorry, but not everyone can or should be writing. But comics has a very low opinion of writers. But also, as far as editors goes, beta readers are just people who read your book and give you feedback. That's it. They're not editors. There are all different types of editors. The problem that I just recently discovered in indie publishing is that indie people only think that indie people think that any editor is just all traditional publishing editing, where they go back and forth with everyone and they're in charge of the story and they can take things out and put things back in. No, there are different types of editors, different types of editing. I think that it would be beneficial for independent, not just comics, but any independent publishing should at the very least, get a proofreader before it goes to print. Mm-hmm. I cannot tell you how many comics, almost every single indie comic that I have ever gotten has had grammatical errors, and not just little ones. You're not just forgetting a comma here and there. Like, I've gotten some that are honestly offensive. Like, it is offensive. And what I want is longevity. And you're not going to have longevity if your comic even has great art, but is filled with mistakes. And just specify what kind of editing you want. Do you just want a proofreader who's going to look at it and make sure it's mistake-free? Awesome, do that. If you want the kind of editor who is going to look in your story and change that, then hire for that. But there's different types of editing. Traditional editors, where you're basically more of a project manager, doesn't really have much of a place in independent publishing because it's of the nature of the market. It's just too independent for a project managing editor. So just like, please, guys, I really want your stuff to succeed, but I've gotten some books where I can't finish them. Like, I'll get to page 4, and if there's more than like 3 errors, I just can't finish it. And I get it. Like, it's a visual medium, and that's fine. But story still matters. It has to be readable.
I mean, I was reading.
Of it, like,
I'm sorry, you go.
No, I was just gonna say that Alex is exactly right. It's a visual medium, but the art, no matter how awesome it is, it's all wasted if the story isn't good.
Let me give you my example.
It kills me that there's so many good artists out there, and there are so many good ideas that just aren't executed well because people will not get feedback. They will not help get. If you don't know how to write, you should be aware of that. Hire a writer. If you need an editor, be aware of that. Hire an editor. Like, a lot of people are just good artists and they have good ideas, but they don't know how to write. Hire a writer, or maybe you like. It's like
word
people
yourself into a writer. If you're
oh my god! Or learn to write. I don't think I'm a naturally good writer, but I'm learning. I'm doing my best. I think I'm decent. I'm not the best in the world, but I will put in whatever effort it takes to make Fiendish fucking amazing, and I will use all the help that I can get because I know that'll make the story better. It's not about your ego. It should be the story and the product first, because we need to create a competent medium. I want more good comics, and we're not going to get more good comics if people don't get fucking editors and don't understand what beta readers are and don't treat this like a serious art. That's all I'm saying. So,
Jack Jackson's saying there aren't a lot of competent writers anymore, though. I'm gonna have to agree, only because there's so many people who say that they're a writer, but they're not.
They're not.
But you can tell. You can tell if someone
just draw something, but they don't really spend the time with the theme.
You can tell someone is a natural, actual good writer just by reading a couple things that they've done.